Have you ever found yourself stuck in a circle of planning, overthinking everything, or simply waiting for the perfect moment to take action? Trust me, we've all been there. But today I want to share with you a simple truth that has transformed my life. The magic isn't in the wishing, waiting, or wanting. It is certainly not in the speculating or theorizing or questioning. The magic, my friend, is in the doing. The magic is about embracing every part of who you are, especially those parts that the world tells you to hide. I stand before you as someone who the world has labeled with so many disadvantages, and yet I've been able to transform them to superpowers. And I truly believe that you can do the same through action. Picture this. You start staring at your piece of paper. The words are all jumbled up. A scramble of words that makes no sense. You look around your peers. Seems like a puzzle that they are able to solve. That is my lived reality with dyslexia. A learning disability that affects about 5 to 10% of the world population at varying degree. I remember sitting in that classroom thinking to myself, if only I try just a little harder. I felt defeated. My peers would laugh at me as I stumbled upon my words in reading class. And teachers who called me stupid. Damn, that word stung and cut deeper than any red ink on my piece of paper. To me, dyslexia wasn't just a learning disability. It was a questioning of my self-worth. It was the constant sidelining and made to feel less than my peers. Fast forward many years later, I graduated with a first-class degree in biomedical science. I then went on to pursue a PhD in cancer research and human genetics. So what changed for Pelumi, you might be thinking? Well, I decided I was no longer going to wait for permission, at least not to define my own capabilities. I drastically reduced the amount of time I was dreaming and planning because it was of no good. Instead, I focused on action. I became very curious about how my dyslexic brain worked, how I was just very creative. I thought outside of the box. I invested on, tools and skills that will help me get better. I paid for extra coaching, and little by little, I got better every single day through action, even if it was just 1%. I also leaned on the neuroscience of neuroplasticity. That is the coolest concept ever, the fact that the brain is able to transform over time. It means that when you put your brain in difficult situations and take action when it seems challenging, guess what? You create new neural pathways. And over time, you become more resilient. And I realized that the thing we labeled as our weakness can actually be our greatest asset. But one thing we have to realize is taking action can be difficult. The step towards it can be daunting. But the moment we ditch the perfect step, the society expectation, and instead embrace imperfect action, momentum starts. So this same action muscle was exactly what I used to challenge another social norm, traveling solo as a female. One of my earliest trips was actually to Switzerland. After seeing an Instagram post, I was like, oh yeah, wow, this place looks amazing. I wasn't going to wait for someone else to come along with me. I wasn't waiting for anyone's permission, so I packed up my bag. And at that moment, traveling became a declaration of independence from society expectation and self-imposed limitation. At the age of 29, I have now traveled to 88 different countries. And each of them are speculating, and they mark a moment in history. And in all of my travels, I realized that it's not about the meticulously planned trip, but the moment I say yes to new adventure and actually dare to step off the beaten path and immerse myself in the culture, I truly have that adventure. And this year, I decided to do something daring. I decided to solo drive from London to Lagos. I repeat, I decided to solo drive from London, UK to Lagos, Nigeria. The journey spanned over 10,000 kilometers across 17 different countries and took me 74 days. And the best thing was I decided to take my tiny vehicle, my Peugeot 107, which I named Lumi, because that's all I had at that point in time. And I remember making that social media post and it going viral. Everyone had something to say. Pelumi, you are crazy. That was one of the most frequent ones. And I tell people that is one of the biggest compliments you can give to me, because it means I am doing something that you cannot even fathom. You cannot even wrap your head around. Hence the reason you tag it as crazy. And I tell my friends always, if nobody has called you crazy this year, you're playing life too safe. You need to dare a little bit more. The comments came flooding it. It's too dangerous. It's too ambitious for a woman. You need a team. You need to go with somebody. It is certainly not the right car. You need a 4x4. You need spare tires. What if something happened to you? What if you get kidnapped? And what if you die? The drama. People can be so dramatic. And in that moment, I asked myself one simple question. Is this fear mine? And after deeply reflecting on it, I was like, no, it's not. So I picked it up, I wrapped it up, and I gave it back to those it belonged to. And traveling solo from London to Lagos was one of the best decisions I ever made. And honestly, I have been able to grow my global audience. I've been able to work with the most incredible brands. And I've been able to stand on global stages just like this one. But I'm also very honest and transparent about my journey. It was also one of the hardest things I've had to do. I remember crying and feeling so frustrated after 70 plus days on the road. I remember being angry after I wasn't let into the borders. I remember driving through very hostile terrain like the Sahara Desert. And I was even in a car accident. What I'm trying to tell you today that daring isn't always easy. You have to push beyond your comfort zone. And that is the mistake we made sometimes. Sometimes we try to avoid fear. But it's about being knocked down 6 times and daring to stand up again the 7th time. And one thing I also learned in that moment, that the only limit that truly exists are the one that we accept. I arrived in Lagos, Nigeria with my car. Something people said I couldn't do. So you might be thinking to yourself right now, okay, Pelumi, I want to take action. I love what you've said. I want to take action right now. What do I do? Well, you can adopt my 5-2-1 principle. This is a blueprint that's helped me numerous of times to take messy actions. Number 1, this is the 5 minutes launch. What it does is ignite momentum. Anytime you're faced with a difficult task, like a coursework, a project, something you need to do, but it seems so daunting, just tell yourself, it's a trick, you're lying to yourself, you know, but you're still gonna do it. You're like, I'm only gonna work on this for 5 minutes, that's all. So I set my timer and I start working on it. And at the end of that 5 minutes timer, you have 2 options. Number 1, you can either decide to continue working on it because guess what? You've built momentum. Or number 2, you can say, you know what? I've done enough. At least I've created a dent. Because when you revisit it next time, it is less daunting. My second one, the 2 minutes turnaround. These are for quick wins. These are the moments whereby you have so much to do. Your mental and your physical mental phase is so clustered, you don't know what to do. So when something can be done in 2 minutes or less, do it now. You have that email to send, do it now. You have that file to do it now. You have that just do those little things. Clear up your physical space. Because guess what? When you clear up those places, the clutter, you have more space to do creative work. The last and the final one, in which I really like, is the 1 minute mindset shift. It allows you to move from hesitation to action. What I do is I divide the 1 minute into 3 20 seconds. The first 20 seconds, I think about it. I name the primary emotion I'm feeling in that moment. What is causing so much havoc, and why can't I take this action? And it's either I'm anxious, I'm afraid. What is it I'm feeling? The second 20 seconds, I ask myself, what do I have to gain from doing this thing? What are the advantages of doing this thing? What that does is puts me in a positive mindset. And the final 20 seconds, I visualize what is the next action to take. Sometimes it's just as small as sending an email. But once that 1 minute is up, I need to take action. And what I've realized over time, that the small action can actually have big impact. So one thing I want you to know is that daring isn't just an individual pursuit, but rather a collective movement. Therefore, when we dare to, as a community, we're able to activate a powerful synergy. Just think about it. Every single person in this room daring to do that one thing that is their truest purpose. Now multiply that by millions and billions of people. The world changes, society shifts. And what we once considered a small ripple effect becomes a tidal wave. And when we realize that our lives are intertwined in a web of possibility, it means that we have the responsibility to move from being passive observer to become active participants. We all have that duty. So I want you to think about your journey now. Really reflect on it. What is that thing you've been hesitating to do? That idea you've been pondering and thinking about, but not doing much about it? What is that new project you said you're going to start this year? It's almost the end. What is that toxic relationship you need to leave? What is those ideas you stand for? Now I want you to realize this simple truth. It really isn't about the size of the action. It's not about the scale, but rather the courage to dare and do. For that reason, we're able to transform our thought to action. And one thing I want you to do is start redefining what you consider successful. What does success mean to you? To me, success can be redefined as a series of efforts rather than the outcome. I repeat, success should be defined as a series of efforts rather than the outcome. So today I dare you to dare. That is a lot of dares. But it's so essential to take action, to do that thing you've always wanted to do, no matter how crazy it might seem. To shut out the noise of the world, because everybody always has something to say. But instead, listen to your inner voice. Because honestly, as human, one of the most powerful things we're able to do is the magic of doing. We're able to do the raw, the real, and the right now. Thank you very much. Thank you.